My favorite hobby is spending f***ing money. Oh my God.
I have just under $23,300 worth of debt, and I'm not ashamed of it.
So I have a confession. I am a overspender. I'm an overspender. Please, they're $315.
My name's Jocelyn. I'm 31 years old and I'm $18,000 in credit card debt. Let's see where my money went last week.
Hey man, people really be out here spending money irresponsibly, bro.
All right, spending habits. This is a big one for me because I hate spending money more than anything. I think it's from growing up poor, but I just cannot get past these videos of people talking about just blowing money. Let's get into it.
My favorite hobby is spending f***ing money. Oh my God. Nothing brings me more joy in life than going and spending f***ing money. I love it. I am in credit card debt. I don't give a shit. I don't give a motherfucker, okay? I've never cared less. Oh, I love spending money. I like going out. I don't care if I spend $2 on a fucking hand sanitizer at the Dollar Tree, okay? Oh, I'm having the best time. What are we going to do next? I fucking love spending money. I love going on a good, thorough shopping spree. Hitting several stores, spending money at each one, going home with bags upon bags. That is so fun. I don't care if I just spent $500 on a credit card and now I'm in debt. I just had the best day. I'm rejuvenated. I feel better. I'm going to go try on all the new makeup I bought.
Often wonder if is this like a mess up between hunter-gatherer skills? Like, what is it about spending money? And I know for some people it's entertainment. You go out, you're with your friends, you're doing a day, it's entertaining, got some things you needed. I don't know. Comment down below. What do you think? Am I wrong, right? Let's have some discourse. Let's figure this out. I have never had this problem because I'm always too scared to go back to being poor that I wind up having the opposite effect. I can't get myself to spend money.
Why I just made a TikTok saying that I finally paid off my credit card debt and made a savings account. And I already want to buy $315 boots. I really want to be financially responsible, but like, please, they're $315. But I feel like I need them.
So I have a confession. I am a overspender. I'm an overspender, okay? And I already knew I love to shop. I love to spend money. I love to buy new things. I always like something new. I will buy stuff and feel the high of buying that stuff, bring it home. Excuse me. And then drop the bags in my closet and not open them for 3-4 weeks. Clearly, I did not need them. Okay, and not that if you open it and put it in your closet right away, you needed them, because I've done that too. But I will literally buy things and forget that I bought it, right? I'm heading to the gym right now. What's my routine? I will literally leave the gym, go have breakfast somewhere, which defeats the purpose of going to the gym and trying to get in shape. And then after that, think to myself, oh, you know, there's a Target down the street. Let me go down there and buy something. I don't need.
It is shocking to see some of these stories of people blowing their paychecks, blowing all their money. You know, I think about how many hours I had to work to give up of my life to buy that object. And if it's a trade I didn't want, if it's a trade that I just can't stomach, I don't do it. I mean, you're talking to the guy that wears $5 t-shirts and the same shoes he's had for 10 years, okay? I see these and I'm just like, is that worth, you know, 8 hours of my life to buy those boots? Where am I going to put them? What am I going to do with them? How do I travel with those? My brain goes a lot of places with these ideas. Like, I often look at what are the usage hours I'm going to have with this. And if it's not a lot, then I'm like, I just can't do that. I would rather have the money growing with interest in my bank account or in the stock market. This is the type of person that does not need a credit card. You need to just cut it up. Don't have one. If you don't have the money, don't buy it. And I know when you see those numbers go down, you'll stop doing it. Credit card debt is at an all-time high. I think we're at like $1.7 trillion in credit card debt. It's probably the thing that's going to upend our economy, and it just keeps getting higher and higher, and interest rates on those things are staggering. I've done multiple videos on this. If I can say anything as a young person, and I know people need to build their credit, don't have a credit card. I didn't have one until I was about 27, 28 years old, and I was making good money, and I used it to get the points, and I wound up just having a couple of them. I never did credit card debt. I always had money to back it, paid off every month, but I had a debit card for many, many years, and I've even honestly thought I have like a really good credit score. I froze my credit. It's locked up. And I even thought about getting rid of my credit cards. I'm like, yeah, I get a few $1,000 a year back on my credit card points, but sometimes you forget and you almost let them roll over, get some interest. You gotta tend to all of them, you know, if you're using them. Life's a lot easier with just a debit card.
Hey man, people really be out here spending money irresponsibly, bro. Let me tell you why I say that though. So me and my dog, we don't work at the same job, but we do get paid on the same day, right? Alright, cool. So last Friday, it's payday. I done called my dog phone. He picked up. He said, yo. I said, what up with it, my dude? He said, what's good, my boy? I said, man, it's payday, bro. You know what time it is. He, come on now. You know I know what time it is. I just got off too. I'm finna come straight to your house. I said, you don't want to stop by your crib first? Holla at your girl? Man, she can wait, bro. She can wait. I said, all right, then I'm here, dog. He say, let's. So boom, I hang up the phone. About 15 minutes later, he pull up on me. You feel me? I done dapped him off. He got his, I got mine. Man, it's payday. Y'all know what time it is. All right, cool. So about 45 minutes later, we chilling, vibing, playing the game and stuff. His girl called his phone. He put it on speaker. He said, yo, what's up, baby? She said, hey, where you at? He, oh, my fault, baby. I'm over here at Kevin's house. I should have called you and told you when I got off. She said, oh, you good, you good. I was just trying to see where you was. Go ahead and send me your half of the rent so I can have it ready. And send me an extra $100 too so I can get us something to eat. He say, baby, I ain't got it right now. She said, what? He said, I ain't got it right now. She said, Keyshawn, what you mean you don't got it right now? You just got paid today. He said, baby, I just don't got it right now. She said, Keyshawn, I know you ain't just spent $1,400 like that. I really hope you did not spend $1,400 that fast. He said, see, that's the problem right there. You're hoping for the wrong thing. You need to be hoping that LeBron James and Stephen Curry get over 30 points tonight. That's who got the other half of the rent. She said, are you serious? Oh my God. And she hung the phone up. I said, dog, you put $1,400 on LeBron James and Stephen Curry? Man, yeah, bro, I'm trying to go big or go home, bro. I'm trying to go big or go home. I said, if they don't come through for you, bro, you ain't gonna have a home to go to. Man, listen, bro, I don't need none of that around me right now. I need straight good energy, bro. Straight good energy. I said, you know what? You absolutely right, bro. You need all the good energy you can get right now, dog. They just hope they come through for you. But I'm thinking like, dang, bro, people really out here spending money irresponsibly like that? The rent money? Come on now, bro. Hey, man.
There's one thing in life I can tell a young person: don't gamble. Stay away from the gambling tables, online gambling. The only gambling you do is speculation on a asset that sometimes you got to roll the dice on. But you don't gamble, okay, is one vice I do not do. That in video games, because I have an obsessive compulsive personality and I'll go down the rabbit hole with it, and it is one thing I know I need to not do. And you ask Samantha, she can take me in a casino, I will have nothing to do with it. And I've always grew up like that, and I'm glad I didn't. I know a lot of people that have gambled away massive amounts of money, put liens on their houses, their credit cards, over gambling. Shocker, the house is supposed to win in a gambling casino. That's how they pay their bills. That's how they keep the lights on. That's how they got that big building. And you think you do this once upon a time, you're going to go and beat that guy or that table dealer or that machine? It's not happening. You might win once, but over the course of time, they're getting their money out of you. Stay away from bookies.
I have just under $23,300 worth of debt, and I'm not ashamed of it. I know what I just said is about to make some people big mad. And so welcome to today's walk and talk, where I just yap while I walk on my walking pad during my lunch break from my corporate job. So there's a few reasons I say I'm not ashamed that I have $23,300 worth of debt. Please know I said I have, not I am in, okay? Because my debt is not something I am, it's something I have. Shit happens, for lack of a better term. In the last 2 years alone in my life, I have had to deal with medical expenses, dog medical expenses. I had to put down one of my dogs. I had to unexpectedly move houses. I dealt with a job transition, and that's just in 2 years. Or just leave it outside my window. $23,300 worth of debt. About $4,000, $5,000 of that is student loans. The rest of it is credit card debt that I will now be handling. openly, because I've never talked about my debt on here before. And so I think it's time for me to just be like, all right, Judgy McJudgersons, if you want to come into my comments and say all of these things, be my guest. But here's the other thing that people don't consider. Even if you do everything right, life is lifing. Like for me, for example, I had every intention of, I was about to have one of my credit cards paid off. That minimum payment's gonna go to the next credit card. Guess what? Car insurance is going up $40 a month. Rent is going up $50 a month. Try to take a second and have like a minuscule, like a grain of salt's worth of empathy and understanding of other people's situations. And don't come at me with like, well, you shoulda, coulda, woulda. No shit, Sherlock. Shoulda done a lot of things. Shoulda broken up with most of my exes sooner. Shoulda bought a house when I was in freaking kindergarten. Shoulda invested in the stock market when I was in like 2nd grade. Shoulda done a lot of things. But that's not the reality I'm in, and so I'm not gonna waste my time focusing on what I shoulda done. Here's where I am, here's what I'm gonna be doing. And I'm tackling this, specifically the credit card.
After watching videos of people living in their car a while ago, and then I listened to her talk, it's like every other thing but her fault. You gotta have a savings plan. You gotta have an emergency fund so you don't have to put these things on credit cards. Because when you rack that $23,000 up at 20%, 25%, 29% interest, and you got to make that minimum payment and it starts to go, pretty soon you'll never catch this. This is not the route. What she said, life is lifing or whatever, no, you've got to be prepared for these things, and it seems like she's living out of her means. If $100 car insurance going up takes you out of your rhythm, you need a different car. If your rent is putting you in the poorhouse, you need a different house. Like, you've got to match your income and your expenses, and this is not the way.
My name's Jocelyn, I'm 31 years old, and I'm $18,000 in credit card debt. Let's see where my money went last week. It has felt so long since I've had a week where I spent under $1,000. It's been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's been 7 weeks. So on Sunday, May 4th, I spent no money. On Monday, May 5th, $30.51 came out of my account. Austin and I went out to get ice cream, and we didn't just get like little cups of ice cream. We got 2 pints of ice cream from a local ice cream shop. And I have to say that one of the best things since we've started this intentional spending, conscious spending journey and really tackling our debt is that we don't feel as guilty when we treat ourselves to things. $76.63 came out for Marshalls. I went in to replenish a couple of things like washcloths, some body lotion, some face wash, and other necessities like that. I spent $64.86 on Old Navy. This is the first time I have bought like brand new clothes in a really long time. I honestly can't remember the last time I bought new clothes. $349.76 came out for my student loan. I'm primarily focused on paying off my credit card debt right now, and then eventually once I pay that off, then I'm going to be really bullish about paying off my student loans. But right now it's just kind of this like pretend thing that exists back here that I'm not too worried about. I have that $300 payment that comes out every month, and then my federal loans are paused. So Tuesday, May 6th, $15 came out for my Canva subscription. On Wednesday, May 7th, $53.64 came out. I bought Austin a new pair of shoes. Something really cool happened. In March, I posted a video, and it actually went viral like a whole month and a half after I had posted it, and it was about shoes. And a brand reached out to me and said that they'd send me a free pair of shoes, and then I wanted to shoot my shot. Austin's birthday is coming up soon, so I asked if they would be willing to give me a discount code to order him a pair of shoes, and they said yes. So I got a pair of shoes for Austin, half off. We ended up getting the exact same pair of shoes, so we'll make a video later this week once they both come in and show you what they look like. Thursday, May 8th, $20.
I just can't. I'm hearing a lot of spending money and not trying to save money. $18,000 at a high interest rate. That thing's clipping along. And comment down below, what are your thoughts? You don't buy nothing until that's gone. Like, not like $1,000 spending weeks. I can't remember the last time I spent $1,000 on really anything. I think me and Samantha's bills are like, I don't know, like $1,300 a month because all of our stuff's paid for. That's just like insurance and utilities and Wi-Fi and things like that, because we've literally paid everything off all the way down, and we've got a very manageable property for the price point. But I see these young people with these high amounts of credit card debt, and it breaks my heart to see this. And then she said her student loans were paused, which means when they come back on, they are going to destroy her budget. this should be the time while they're paused to get rid of that $18,000 in credit card debt. And that's why I said before, just have a debit card. It'll keep you out of a lot of trouble, because if you're not capable of it and disciplined, it's going to eat you up. Only the disciplined survive with a credit card, and even those sometimes get out of hand.
I have $25,000 of credit card debt, and I just got laid off from my $70,000 a year job. So let's talk about it. I got laid off on April 11th, and I knew it was coming for about 10 months, but it's finally here. I do get a severance, which is going to help me substantially. I'm going to be able to pay off my car, which is my biggest monthly note. I'm going to pay down $6,000 of credit card debt, which is going to be payments on $2,000 payments onto 3 of my biggest credit cards, because I want my utilization down, and I also want my monthly payments to be smaller. Yes, some of you might put that towards one credit card. I'm not doing. Right now I'm serving. I'm switching back to serving. Serving used to be my lifeline. We're a little slow right now, so I'm a little scared. I'm looking for a different serving job, but what I'm going to be doing on this channel is I am going to be going through my server tips every week and planning out a budget to be able to pay my bill. What I need just in general for my bills is I need $167 for my car insurance, $750 for my rent, $250 for one credit card, $218 for another, $85 for one of them, and is that it? Internet, which is $55. I need to find insurance now. I'm hoping that's like $300 or less, or I'm gonna cry. And then eventually we will need a second car, because I was working from home. One car was working. Join me on this.
This is exactly what I was saying before. You have a break in employment, you have something that throws you off your rhythm, and then all of a sudden that interest rate just starts eating you up. And then before you know it, you're way behind, you're getting sued, you're getting a judgment against you, and voila, bankruptcy. I wish I could just, tell young people and even old people, stay away from these credit cards. Launch another viral trend of getting rid of credit card debt. Getting rid of credit cards. Like, these are not going to make you wealthy. The points are not going to make you wealthy. Having money in the account that you're not paying a banker is going to make you wealthy. Like, you can use it for so many things.
I understand. Listen, I understand credit card debt. What I don't understand are the creators that come on here. They say they're 28 years old. They have $65,000 worth of credit card debt, but they also say that they bought a car last month for $50,000. Because sis, at this point, you are the problem. You are the problem. If you have already accrued, say $30,000 worth of credit card debt, you do not need a new car. You do not need to buy an outfit every single time there's an event coming up. You do not need to buy a new pair of tennis shoes every other month. You do not need to buy Starbucks every morning and every afternoon. You don't need to go to Home Goods because it's Christmas time and now you want to redo all the decor in your home. Some of you guys, it makes it really hard for me to feel bad for some of you guys when you continue to make really poor, stupid financial decisions, and then you wonder why you're 35 years old and you don't have a good enough credit score to purchase a home. It's because you keep purchasing stupid shit that really equates to nothing. Again, if you use credit cards for essentials,
100%. And most of this stuff will end up in a landfill between 1 and 5 years in the future. If you think something you're about to purchase is not going to be with you for the next 5-10 years, don't buy it. I know many wealthy people, when you go into their house, there is very few items. There might be a $100 pen. There might be a $50 notebook. There might be a MacBook they've spent $5,000 on a desk with nothing on it. And in the living room, a TV, a couple couches, a nice car in the driveway. Very few items to distract them, okay? I know as a person growing up poor, the accumulated things in the backyard and the shed was a sign of wealth. And when my father passed, I realized none of this stuff had been touched for many, many years. There was a ton of money sitting back there that was worth zero because it was old or dusty or wet or deteriorating, or the rats had started living in it. And I wound up taking most of it to the dump, and I was thinking how much wasted wealth was here that was just collected over the years. And if you think something you're about to purchase, you're going to use a handful of times and then wind up throwing it away, don't buy it. Word of advice.
The impulsive spending side of ADHD literally is consuming my life. I don't know if it's like this for anyone else, but it's not always just as simple as if I want something, I buy it. It's literally that my brain will fixate on something that I've seen for weeks and weeks on weeks until I end up buying it. I could literally see an item on an advert or someone wearing something and my brain will fixate on that one thing until I end up buying it. Like, yes, I'm impulsive in the fact that I will go to the shops and I'll buy random shit, but my biggest impulsive urge is buying irrelevant, expensive shit that my brain just fixate on for weeks on end. Like, it consumes my life. All I can think about in every goddamn spare minute of the day is this one freaking item that my brain is telling me my life will be better if I have it, even though I know it won't. But I can't stop. I can't get it out of my head. Oh, it's so annoying.
All right, I want to address this. As somebody that probably is ADHD and 100% has these problems, this is a cop-out. Comment down below if you have these problems, ADHD, your mind just fixates on stuff. Here's how I do it. I recognize myself doing it. This is why I don't play video games. And I say, you know what? How can I point myself at a direction, something other than spending money? Because the spending money part is just like an aphrodisiac. It's just like one of these things that you do because you're having this urge. Well, we're humans, and the things that separate us from animals is we can change our urges, not act them out, okay? And not spending the money is something I can do. I can say, hey, oh man, I can see myself fixating on this. I'm gonna go make a YouTube video. I'm gonna go cut the grass. I'm gonna go do these things. I'm gonna go find something that I don't have to spend money on. Because if I don't have money, I need to do something else. And with credit cards, this is how credit card debt gets so bad. People don't recognize they have this habit, just like gambling, and they go and spend money they don't have on a card that'll let them run it up because you're going to get charged an interest rate. Don't be this person. There is a viral trend all over TikTok where they are blaming their ADHD with spending money, okay? Recognize it. Pick a different thing. If you feel like you want to smoke a cigarette, don't smoke the cigarette. If you feel like you need to drink alcohol, don't drink alcohol. These run together. We can recognize it, we can train ourselves to recognize it and do something else. That's what I've learned to do, and it's worked, okay? It hurts me to spend money. When I feel myself wanting to spend money, I don't do it. Unless it's like something that's small that I do need, and I've been thinking about it for a week, and I know the amount of time I've spent thinking about it, if I would have made a YouTube video or tried to sell a house, that the return would have been better if I just buy the thing, but this was a very minimum amount of time. Very minimal amount of things affect me like this. Except for like shotguns and fun stuff. But I don't have any big fun stuff.
So, this right here, this $14,058.18 is the amount of credit card debt, along with a few other petty debts that I am in as of March of 2025.
And this is your friendly reminder that people are out here in massive amounts of credit card debt.
No, you have to put but it's work hard when you're raised in a certain lifestyle. I was literally raised in this neighborhood where everybody was wealthy. Everybody had like daddy.
If you've never seen that creator, he basically brings on people to interview them about large amounts of debt or having no handle on their finances. And it's easy to look at that one video and be like, oh, it's a one-off situation. It's that girl doesn't know how to handle her money. No, this shit happens all the time. People are in debt. And while there is something to be said about the lack of financial literacy education we naturally receive in high school and college, especially in America, there is a big part here of the people who want to align themselves to lifestyles that they cannot afford, especially with this rise of social media and everything being on the internet. So this is just your friendly reminder to never compare yourself to someone and their finances. You never know, one, who's in massive amounts of debt, or two, who's getting help from other sources.
This is so true. I see this so much around town, and I'm like, I can kind of angle how much somebody's worth, okay? And I see the car, kind of know what they do for a living, and I can backwards pedal, and I'm like, that don't add up. I know they got a mortgage, 2 car payments, they work a C-suite job, they've never really came from money. I'm like, they got to be broke as a joke. As somebody that's gone from zero to some money because I worked my tail off, I can smell this out. And like, I find it interesting that I can walk up to these people and maybe they don't know who I am or whatever, and a t-shirt, you know, some old shoes, and they look at me like, who are you? And I'm like, I'm worth 5 of y'all, 10 of y'all. But You would make fun of me for being in a t-shirt or not having the fancy car, which I know they've got leased, or I know they've got on a high interest rate. And then they invite you over to their house, and then you're like, this house is awesome, but how do you afford to eat? Okay, because the mortgage on this thing's got to be $7,000 or $8,000 a month. You got insurance, taxes, maintenance, all these things. And I'm like, there's no way you're accumulating wealth. And I see it all across the board. And then like kids grow up in that, and then they want that, and they think they're entitled to that on their first house. And then they go into the same course of events to keep that air up. And I'm like, this is not how you built wealth. I mean, like how I built it is I took myself to zero, joined the military, deployed, lived in a metal box for a year, saved all my money, did that until I was a captain, got out of the Army. I saved up money. I came and started buying real estate, cash, with no loans, okay? And I learned how to flip, buy, sell real estate, however you want to do it. I learned how to do things with high amounts of money. And I'm like, that's how you do it. You don't do it by trying to impress people that are going to talk crap about you behind your back.
I am so bad with money. Like, I am so bad. I really just think that nobody talks about this enough when it comes to ADHD and adulthood, of how bad your relationship with money can be and how it wreaks havoc on just being an adult. All my bills get paid. My rent's always paid. But I overspend everything else that I have. And then I end up in situations where I just feel uncomfortable and on edge. And I have this like really bad lack mindset because of it. Buy things I don't need all the time because I'm seeking dopamine. I have a huge tax bill this month that is due. I have known about this for the last 12 months. I knew it was coming. Bill just was like, do you know what? Doesn't matter. I'm going to buy this. I'm going to buy that. I'm going to buy this. I put nothing aside for it. I don't want to overspend. I want to save my money. I want to be good with my money. I just feel like I cannot seem to just stop it. Like, no need. Where's my money gone? Where's my money gone? It's £10 here and there that I'm just like getting myself a little treat. I don't need a little treat. I do. There's a lot of issues that I have with money that make me feel so embarrassed and make me feel like a child, actually, because it's like I have very, very limited financial literacy. The problem is even when I budget, and I like go through everything and I'm like, don't spend more on like this, don't do that, I still end up doing it because I'm like, £10, it's fine. But then I forget the other £10 that I've spent doing that. And then obviously it all like accumulates.
See, I don't have any sadness for this. As somebody probably with really bad ADHD, I see it as my superpower. My neurons are firing faster than most people's in a conversation. I come up with ideas out of the weirdest places. I allow my ADHD to wander and I try to harness it, okay? I try to put it in a direction and hyperfixate on stuff, which makes me outwork other people, okay? And then I hear people blame it about their spending habits or why their diet's bad or why is this? No, that's cop out. You know you're spending that money. Okay, like use cash. If you can't use a debit card or a credit card, use cash and only carry so much, or have it allocated for certain things. Like Dave Ramsey has that method of putting it in envelopes, blah, 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 blah. This type of person needs to recognize their personality trait as being like this and don't do those traits, okay? This is not just blame ADHD. This trend has got to stop. You've got to be responsible for your own actions, accountability for your own actions, because that tax man is going to put a 10%, 15% charge on that money you didn't pay him, like monthly, okay? Like, that is a dumb move to not pay your taxes. You knew it was coming, and these credit cards are running people.
I'm 31, I'm single, I live alone, I currently have $28,000 in credit card debt. I'm about to go out for my little afternoon walk, and I was kind of pondering my life and the journey that my finances have been, and I think one turning point, of course there are a plethora of turning points, but one really big turning point that I think could have made a huge difference in my debt payoff journey is the day that I decided to move out. If my mom and dad had known how much credit card debt I was in, would they have let me stay rent-free for like a year? Even
I get it, but what was she spending all that money on? You know, it's like you knew that day was coming. What were you spending all that money on to rack up that much credit card debt? Unless you were off at college and you had that credit card debt, then you got to take yourself to zero. And that's why so many people are starting to live in their cars to pay off some of this credit card debt. shouldn't have done it in the first place. You got to be resourceful. Like, learn to do without. Like, I did without when I went to college. The dollar menu, I would pack my lunches. I would sleep in my truck many a nights at the baseball field. Heck, I used to sleep in the locker room at the baseball field, just so I didn't have to drive all the way back home or whatever it may have been. I spent many a nights on charter buses. I spent many a nights just kind of vagabonding, like, because life was hard in college. And then when I was in the Army, I was traveling all the time. You got used to it. You can do without a lot of things. And I've realized, talking to some of these people with these credit card debts, they just think they're supposed to have the Starbucks or the latte or all these things. Nah, man, I ate a can of tuna and an apple, or I had some water with me, or I would go to all the water faucets, drink there instead of getting drinks at the gas station. Like, I grew up poor. It was just second nature. And then I hear how people think they have to have all these things. And I'm just like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Comment down below what you think. I wanted to put my thoughts out there. I want to see what y'all think about this. Maybe there's somebody can learn something in the comment section. Maybe there's a kid out there right now going through these things and looking for answers. So comment down there so maybe somebody can learn from some of the wisdom you have. And that's why I'm doing these videos, for everybody to kind of learn, see other people's problems. The economy's bad out there right now, and it's affecting a lot of people. The more I do these videos, I realize this. And you know, I love teaching entrepreneurship. I've always been the one on this channel to try to teach people how to get out of these situations when they encounter them, or they have that problem, to recognize it and use entrepreneurship and things like that to get you out of these situations. You know, like, first thing I'd be trying to do is find a real estate property, a wholesale, flip the contract, pay my student loans off, or pay my credit card off. Be looking for some kind of flip. You know, I've talked about that a lot in real estate here on this channel, that there's lots of ways to do these things. Starting a second side hustle, do DoorDash, take your expenses to zero, and before you know it, you're out of it. But you have to want to do it. And if you don't want to do it, then you're going to be in perpetual debt, and your life is going to be hard. Buying a house is going to be hard. Retiring is going to be hard. Like, having extra money is going to be hard. But that's all I got, everybody. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next video.